All right, recording in progress. Good morning. This is the April 15th, 2022 monthly meeting of the Louisville Metro Code Enforcement Board. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Kentucky Open Meetings Act and all applicable sections of the Louisville Metro Code of Ordinances. I'm Jeremy Kirkham, Chair. I'm happy to have with me fellow board members David Pearl and Aaron Cole. Is there any old business before the hearing board this morning?
No, sir.
Okay. Oh, we got a little reverb on you, sir. I'm sure that'll smooth out over the day. Just to close the loop on an old business issue that I brought up a few months ago, House Bill 256 that was elevating the unauthorized practice of law from Class B to Class A misdemeanor on the first offense and all subsequent offenses to a Class D felony. It passed the House, as I reported. Now it's passed the Senate and it's been signed by the governor. We're thankful to the governor for that. So just wanted to close the loop and report finished. Is there any new business?
No new business, sir.
All right. Hearing no new business, I'll entertain a motion to nominate the hearing officer for the day.
I'll nominate Aaron Cole as the hearing officer for today.
Thank you, Mr. Pearl. I step away from the chair for the purpose of seconding. I reclaim the chair. All in favor of Mr. Cole proceeding? Aye. Aye. All right, Mr. Cole, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkham. Okay, I'm still having now I'm having issues with my phone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there's my video back. Okay. All right, good morning, everyone. As previously stated, this is April 15th, 2022 docket Louisville Metro Code Enforcement Board. My name is Aaron Cole. And being a member of said board, I will be hearing cases today. With us, in addition to the board members that Mr. Kirkham has already indicated, from the code enforcement staff, we have Dwayne Fields, Ramonte Dishman, and Laura Houchins. We're also joined by Assistant County Attorney. Mr. Howard, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, thank you. And also Ms. Kathleen Schoen, who is counsel for the board. We have with us also as testifying witnesses, members of law enforcement who are present and will be noted duly. We have security there in the old jail with Mr. Tim Close. For those of you that are in the old jail that can hear me, if you have physical evidence when you come to the podium, such as photographs or something inside your phone, please hand those to Mr. Close and he will make sure that we get them so that we can view them. When cases are called, please respond either by your device, or if you're there in the jail, please come forward. So when, and for those of you in the jail, when your case is finished, please wait for any corresponding paperwork that you may need to take when you leave. With that, Mr. Fields, will you call our first case? I think I got everybody in there.
Okay. Ready for first case, Mr. Cole?
Yes, sir, please.
Case number ENF-SWMS-21-003353, 2119 Oregon Avenue.
Good morning.
Okay. And we have what, Mr. DeSalti?
Correct.
Okay. Are you the property owner, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Mr. Howard, would you go ahead?
Yeah, and then we have someone from the Department of Public Works. And Mr. Flood, who is it that you all were going to have testify on this one? Is it Mr. Officer Ernst?
Thank you, Robbie. This is going to be Solid Waste Officer John Ernst.
And I'm present.
Don, do you mind turning your video on if you have that available?
Officer Ernst,
Yes.
he's in the old jail.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking
Yeah,
at-
he's standing at the podium. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, could you please state your name for the record again, sir?
John Ernst, solid waste
Okay.
enforcement officer.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to swear you in to testify. I'm also going to swear in Mr. Dasaki at the same time. Could you please state your name for the record, sir?
Ahmed Desogi.
Okay, if you could both raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Officer Ernst, if you want to, just let the board know kind of synopsis of what we're dealing with, and then I can follow up with questions from there.
Okay. We responded to a Metro call complaint regarding garbage carts being left out in the front of the residence near the street every day. They say they never gotten pulled back. So on December 17th, 2021, an inspection was made of the property at 2119 Oregon Avenue, which found garbage cart at the street. A notice of violation was issued and a copy mailed to the property owner of record. A follow-up inspection occurred on 1/26/22 and found that the cart left at the street and curb were still there. Verified with Hometown Hauling, the garbage service company that they have, that the garbage pickup is on Mondays. I was there on a Wednesday and I was there on a Friday. And therefore,
so-
a citation was issued.
So in relation to, is it 2119 Oregon Avenue that we're talking about? And you're saying that the garbage pickup for that address is on a Monday?
Yes, Hometown Hauling picks up on
Yeah.
Monday in that neighborhood.
Okay, and so on the week of January 26th, you went out there on the following Wednesday and the following Friday, and the garbage, I'm gonna say garbage container was still out at the property, out on the street.
Correct.
Okay, and the violation was issued due to how long do they have to get that garbage container pulled back from the street?
They have until the day after garbage pickup. I believe it's 4:00 p.m. is the time.
And so this was 4 or 5 days, however you want to measure it, at least 4 days after it was due to be taken from the street.
Correct. They would have to have it back up against their house on Tuesday evening.
Okay,
And that was
and
Wednesday and Friday.
I may have not understood this completely, but you said that there was a complaint filed back from December on the same property?
Yeah, that was our original reason we were there is a Metro call complaint.
Okay, but the first time you were at the property was in January?
No, it was December 17th, 2021. The second time I was there was January 26th, 2022.
Okay, was a warning or anything issued in December, or what happened from that?
Yes, I issued a violation notice, and a copy was mailed to the owner of record.
Okay, so in both instances in which you got I guess, a citizen complaint, is that an accurate description of it?
Yes,
You all went out to the property and found that there was an actual violation at the property?
correct.
Okay. And the citation that was for, it looks like $50, is that correct?
Correct.
And you all found the owner of the property to be Mr. Saki, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Cole, I don't have any further questions, if you had anything.
Not from Public Works, but I guess we'll let Mr. Dasaki tell us why he hasn't been in compliance.
I am the owner of the property, and I confirm, even I am holding in my hands right now, the letter from Department of Public Works and Assets dated December 17th indeed. So and there actually they attach pictures of the two containers actually with the name Hometown. Okay, the company I hired to actually pick up the trash from the property. And those two containers, according to their pictures, are in the front yard, not in the street. Okay, that is actually according to the picture over here.
Mr. Saki, you're fading in and out. I don't know if it's because
What?
you're holding I can't hear all of what you're saying. You're holding up the pictures and it's blocking what your
Right.
mic.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I confirm that I received their letter dated December 17th. And the letter actually came with a single picture that actually showed indeed two garbage containers in the front yard, inside the front yard, not in the street. And this is a rental property. I don't live over there. So I spoke with the tenant and she told me that she is going to remove the garbage containers from the front yard, like every week after Hometown. That is the name of the company I hired to do that. I think it is Hometown something. Okay, so that's actually I told you I didn't follow up on that promise from the tenant. So as far as I am concerned, as the owner, I hired a company to collect the garbage. The tenant kept the container in the front yard. Indeed, I'm not actually denying it, because I went over there and I found the two garbage containers in the front yard.
Let me get a point of clarification here from Mr. Ernst. This is not city trash removal, is it, sir?
No, it is a private company.
Okay, and the fact that that doesn't change the circumstances relative to taking the garbage cans from out of the front of the property. Is that correct also?
That is correct.
Okay, so basically what we have is a failure for Mr. Dasaki's tenant to comply with the rules at hand and to remove once the garbage is picked up, to take the cans out from where the pickup location is located. Just making sure I understand all of the particulars here at this point. Is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mr. What are Mr. Dasaki's options when he has a tenant who is not in compliance? And I already know that, you know, to pay the fine is one thing, but what is his recourse in a circumstance where he can't get a tenant to comply with what the rules are? Do we have any previous circumstances that would give us some precedent here?
Well, if I could speak to that, I would say what the city does is we issue the fine, and Mr. Dasaki can figure that out with his tenant. We're not here to get in the middle of their contractual obligation with each other. We have the problem. They have the trash cans out in front of the property. They're not removing it in a timely fashion. They issued them a warning before they issued a citation. The warning didn't fix the problem. It's still ongoing. At that point, that's between Mr. Dasaki and his tenant.
Okay.
Our ability is just to issue the citation. We don't have any further, recommendation to Mr. Dasaki how to deal with his tenant in that regard.
Okay, Mr. Dasaki, you understand where we are here?
I understand. I understand.
Okay, well, you've got a tenant that just won't do what you tell them to do.
Right. I understand.
Okay, so get
the board to consider giving an extension or something for full compliance, and I will actually work on my tenant and even follow up to be sure that garbage container is removed from the front yard every Tuesday, because based on my understanding, collection date is Monday every week. So I
Okay.
will work on them, but I'm asking the board to give me an extension for full compliance without issuing
Okay.
money penalty or something like that.
Okay, given the nature of the offense and the fact that this is Mr. Dasaki's first time here, I'm going to uh, uh, show some leniency in terms of the fine. I'm not going to remove it. I'm going to uphold the citation. And so that in case of ENF dash SWMS dash 21 dash 0363, the citation as issued is upheld. However, given Mr. Dasaki's willingness to try to persuade his tenant to comply with the rules that are in place, I'm going to conditionally discharge conditionally suspend. Help me here, Ms. Shono. I don't want him to pay the fine now, but I want him to, if we come back here, he's gonna be responsible for it as well.
Additionally discharge.
Okay, so I'm conditionally discharging the $50, with the caveat that Mr. Dasaki will meet with his tenant to correct the problem. If at any time within a 12-month period the solid waste is back there for the same reason, Mr. Dasaki, you understand that you will be responsible for this fine as well as any future fines that are incurred by the non-compliance with this regulation. Do we understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay. So to reiterate, in case number ENF dash SWMS dash 21 dash 00363, citation is upheld. The fine of $50 conditionally discharged as long as compliance is upheld within the 12-month period. That is my ruling. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sasaki.
Thank you very much, sir.
Next case.
Case number ENF dash SWMS dash 21 dash 002500 5511 Yucca Lane.
We have anybody here on that?
Yeah,
Public
they're
Works
walking up
is
to the
here.
podium now.
Do we have an attorney representing SFW Property?
This is actually a citation against a specific person, so I'm not 100% sure why it's coming up.
Okay, I was just looking from.
Yeah, I see what you're
so-
looking at, but this is against Christian Gray. Is that right, Officer Ernst?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, give me a second. It's against a specific person. And what is the nature of the violation here? So it's because we're looking at a $750 fine.
It's illegal dumping.
Okay. Did we actually apprehend Mr. Gray in the process of doing so?
This is this is not an LMPD citation. This is from Public Works, so they would not.
Okay, okay. Getting ahead of myself, sorry. Is Mr. Gray here?
At the podium.
It's Miss Gray.
Okay. Oh, okay, go ahead, Mr. Howard.
Ms. Schoen, did you want to swear him in first?
Yes, please.
And we may have a
Right.
different officer. Officer, I'm sorry to interrupt you, just so we don't have to do it twice. Whoever we're going to have testify on this, Pete, you would want to make sure that they swear in at the same time, because I think Justin was going to testify to this also.
Yes, if we could have Justin Barnett and myself, as I did speak with the violator in this case as well. So I would like to be sworn. Justin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. If you could both state your names and titles for the record, please.
My name is Pete Flood. I am a compliance and enforcement manager.
My name is Justin Barnett. I'm a recycling specialist.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask the parties there in the old jail to please state their names as well. Anyone who's going to be testifying.
Kristen Gray.
Okay.
John
All right. If you
Ernst.
could all raise your right hands to be sworn in, please. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
I do.
I do.
I'm going to start with Officer Barnett, if that's okay. If you could you tell the board what it is that you do, just generally?
So I supervise the recycling center at Dixie Highway. I'm stationed out here. I open and close. I monitor the bins. We have everything clearly labeled. I assist customers that need help. If something doesn't belong, if we don't take something and somebody has questions, I will tell them where to take it, whether it be Meriwether, has been, and then basically keeping it clean.
This is a recycling location for, plastics, paper, that kind of.
Yes, your household recyclables that you would put in like a recycling bin.
This is a city-owned property.
It is.
Okay. And in terms of like trash or anything, is that what you all deal with, or is there just recycling?
Just recycling.
Okay. And you said that it's marked in that fashion?
Yes. Yeah, we have a sign up that tells what we
It is
don't.
not marked. And when it's
If you could
occurred,
not talk, if you could just wait, you'll have an opportunity to speak. And Officer Barnett, if you could just keep, describe what the location looks like.
Okay, well, we have a fenced-in area. We're right next to the Southwest Government Center. So we have bins for paper, plastic, glass, aluminum, tin. We have a truck that we use as a giant compactor for cardboard, and we have a bin on the side of the building for scrap metal. It says metal. Now, every bin has a sign in front of it, and everything goes in the bin. Nothing goes outside of a bin. We don't have anything that says trash. I have a trash dumpster on the, if I'm sitting in the building on the left side, an 8-yard, just a little 8-yard dumpster that we use for our trash only. And we have signs up that says, what we don't take when you pull in. If you pull in the right way, you come in the entrance and go out the exit. It's the second gate. You come in and you go out the first gate. It's set up like that so the camera can see who's coming in and out and get the license plate if necessary. Because we have had problems with illegal dumping before, but nothing on this level. And we have signs that say where our hours on the gate. It says the hours that we're open, which is Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5. We have signs that say no dumping after hours.
Okay. And you said, so were you working August 25th of 2021?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell the board what happened on that date in relation to this case?
Yes. I noticed somebody had come in around the side of the building and dropped off. It looked like there was an old mattress and a box spring. They were, in really bad condition, heavily soiled. So I called my boss, Frank, and there is a way to come around. We share a lot with the Parks Department. So they have gates open in the back, and a lot of people figured out that they can come through those gates before we open at 9, or on Mondays when we're closed, but Parks Department's open. And on the side of the building would be ideal to dump because we don't have any cameras seeing over by the scrap mill. I noticed that that someone had basically got around the side of the building and dropped those off. I called Frank, and then as I was standing by the door, I see a truck pull in through the exit, coming toward me, and a white car pull in after. And on the truck is what looked like to be like an old mattress and an old couch, in the kind of similar condition to what was dropped off before. And I said,
You cut out
that
for a second, Officer Barnett. You cut out for about 5
I-
seconds. And
I
if you could just
apologize.
go back to when you saw the car coming up, you said it had the couch and the mattress on the back. And then what happened at that point?
Yes, I saw, and I walked up to the truck that pulled in, and I said that you know, that that you can't dump that at this site, and I asked if they had dumped anything over there, and they said yes. They said their landlord told them they could, and I said, well, they said the landlord called up here and spoke to someone. Now I'm the only one out here, so I told them I didn't speak to someone, and I was telling them that they can't dump, and if they were to dump, it would be illegal dumping, and that would result in probably a fine and their vehicle getting impounded. So and I had they began arguing with me. They kept saying that their landlord told them that they could dump here. It was the young lady that dumped, and an older lady that was in a white car, and they were a little bit belligerent. And so I was trying to get my phone out to call my boss, and it was clear that they were intending on dumping anyway. And so I went around the side of the young lady's truck, and I read off her license plate. So I read it aloud so she would know I had it, and that, and she did come around and stand in front of her truck to block the license plate. At that point, I asked her why she was doing that, since I already had her plate number. There was a lot more arguing. I kept reiterating that they can't dump that here. That's when you see me start taking a video. I did call my supervisor briefly, but I didn't have much of a chance to talk to him, so I started taking a video. That's when you see the young lady pull over by the scrap metal bin, and you hear me walk over and tell her that she can't do that, and she's pulling the couch off. And at that point, I told her, I've got her on video, and now I'm going to call the police. And I got off to call the police. She said she didn't care, and finished dragging the couch and the mattress off. And then her and the other lady, peeled out pretty quickly after that through the entrance gate.
So as she was dumping I guess it was a couch, you said, and a mattress, you were literally telling her that she could not do that?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you filmed this?
Yes.
And Dwayne, do you have that film to go ahead and show, if you don't mind?
For 5511 Yucca?
Yes.
Yes.
For one moment. Let me cue it up for you. One second, let me share my screen.
We see your screen, Dwayne.
See my screen? Thank you.
Okay.
And here's the
Yes.
video. I'm gonna get it to where the volume is playing. Hold one moment. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna get the volume correct.
If you played it before, Dwayne, I didn't see it.
Nor did I.
Okay, hold on one second. See it now?
Yeah, is there any way to rotate it? I mean, it's fine if you can. It's not a big deal. Unless that's the way you had your camera, then I guess it's the way it looks. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
that's the way.
Doesn't make it right.
That's all we have for the video.
Okay, I think we get the picture. Thank you.
Officer Barnett, you had explained to them that before this takes place, where they're pulling the couch off and dumping it there, did they proceed then to take the mattress and dump it also?
Yes.
You had explained to them prior to this that it was illegal, that they could not dump that material at that location.
Yes.
Okay. And what is it that they're dumping that material in front of? You said it was a scrap metal container?
Yes, it's the container that we use for scrap metal only. Yeah.
And I can see those mattresses sitting there. Did they dump this other material just where those mattresses were laying?
When they pulled in, I asked them, and they told me yes.
And the materials that they dumped on the video, did they just throw it right where that mattress is?
Yes.
Okay. So what would be in that blue container there? Would that have metal in it?
Yes, metal, large, aluminum siding, things, nothing electronic, no appliances, just like large pieces of metal, scrap metal.
What happens when people come and dump, for example, when Miss Gray dumped this material here, what do you have to do to take care of that at that point?
Well, we have to call someone from either SWIMS or Public Works, someone who can come with a packer and basically to get those and get them, crush them up and get them off the site. We don't have a container for items like those at this site, so there would be no way for us to get rid of them here.
Well, there's not a system in place, like a systematic system that you all would have to deal with this in place at that site. You're there to deal with recyclables only. Is that accurate?
Yes. Now we have dealt with some illegal dumping. It's usually just people dumping after hours, leaving stuff outside the gate, or putting some electronics or appliances in the scrap metal bin. But I've never seen furniture like this. I've never seen this kind of dumping here before.
Mr. Cole, I don't think I have any other questions. I might follow up if something else comes back up, but I don't think I have any other questions.
While I've got Mr. Barnett, I just wanted to ask a question that in other cases that occurred after hours or when nobody was there, do you all have cameras on your property?
We have a camera on top of the of my office, and it faces out toward the recycling center. And we do not have one on the side of the building, which is where I have the scrap metal bin. So we do have. It's designed to face because cars pull in the entrance and go at the exit, so it watches. You can see everything that goes on, people entering, leaving, and you can see pretty much everything except the scrap metal bin on the right side of my office and my regular trash bin on the left side of my office.
Okay, well, I was just not so much relevancy toward this case, but for future references, because there are no original ideas. So if this occurred this time, or if it's occurred previously, it may happen again. So we may want to protect the facility itself with maybe by enhancing the camera coverage that's currently in place. But thank you for that information. Thank you.
And Mr. Cole, if you're okay with it, I was gonna discuss with Officer Ernst next, just about issuing the actual citation.
Yes, please go ahead.
Officer Ernst, since you're in the building, I can't tell if you heard that or not. If you wouldn't mind going up to the podium to speak.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, just go through the process of issuing the citation.
Okay. We received a video of an illegal dumping recycling at the recycling drop-off center off Dixie Highway. Once we see video evidence, have a witness statement, pictures, anything of that nature, we then pursue, actually, let me back up a little bit. We get the license plate number. We look it up on a program called AccuRent. At that point, we try to figure out where this person resides. And then if we find the truck at that property, we typically have it towed and also have the $500 illegal dumping fine with a $250 cleanup fee. And then they, in order to get their truck out of tow, they would have to pay the citation. In this case, I don't believe we towed the vehicle.
Okay, and in this instance, were you able to get, and I know the answer to this because you can tell from the video, but were you able to get a license number, license plate number?
Yes.
Can you match that up to Miss Gray?
Correct.
And the vehicle that we see on the video here matched up with what you were able to determine from that license plate, were those matching?
Yes.
And the $500 fine, is that just that comes from the actual offense itself? That's the correct amount for the offense?
Yes, that's the correct amount for the illegal dumping.
And you've issued a cleanup fee of $250. Is that related? Did you all actually have to go out there and clean up the mattresses and the couch?
Yes.
Okay. And I know this has already been stated, so this is kind of a waste of time, but this recycling location, it does not take trash. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So you all had to make a special effort to actually go out and clean up this dumping?
Yes.
I know there's sound that's on this video, and this is maybe for you, Mr. Cole. There is sound to this video that I can watch on my computer. I'm not sure how difficult it would be to get that to work here, but I would like to just be allowed to follow up on that if it becomes an issue. I don't think it's overly relevant at this point to where we would need to make the effort to have that sound played for you, but there is sound to this video that I would like to just hold on to if we need to come back to that.
Okay. If we need to revisit the sound part of it, because the visual is pretty self-explanatory as to what happened, but I don't want to be prejudicial before we hear from the from Ms. Gray and hear testimony in that regard. So yeah, we can reserve the right to revisit the sound portion of the video to kind of get more of a flavor of the tone of what was being said at that time.
Yes, I couldn't think of the word reserve, so I appreciate that. I don't have any other questions for Officer Ernst unless the board has anything for him.
Okay. No, the questions I had relative to the citation itself, the fines for the citation, and obviously the $250 that was tacked onto that to dispense a cleanup crew to take care of. It looks like at least 4 pieces from what the video is showing. A mattress and a box spring, another mattress, and then the aforementioned couch. So those are the items that were required to be removed from the site that is not set up to take to take those kind of items. So yeah, the picture is very self-explanatory.
And Officer Flood, I know you're here. I'm not sure that we need any extra testimony, but if you had something to add to that, I don't want to, it's not really up to me to cut off your opportunity to testify. So if you had anything to add, please feel free.
I do not at this time. I did speak with Ms. Gray on the phone. I would like to reserve the right to come back and answer any questions, but I'm more here in support.
Okay. And Mr. Cole, if you wouldn't mind, I just reserve the right to call him if something comes relevant after Ms. Gray's testimony.
Absolutely, because he did have direct contact with Ms. Gray, and if there's anything that he needs to embellish, that's the wrong word. If anything he needs to clarify once we hear testimony from Ms. Gray, then we certainly can hear back from Mr. Flood and Mr. Barnett if necessary. Thank you.
No further witnesses, Mr. Cole.
Okay, then let's move over to the plaintiff side, the defendant side.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Howard, go ahead.
My name is Christian Gray, and I would like to start off first by the picture that's shown in there. Justin, I want to say, says that there is signs all over the facility and even in front of the dumpsters. If you look in only that video, and I'm sure you have other photos, there's no signs or in front of the dumpsters at all. Another thing is, I'm
No
getting
signs,
charged.
no signs indicating what, ma'am?
For it, he said that it had metal. It was labeled metal, where it was supposed to go, everything was supposed to be labeled. On that trash can, I don't see no labels. He also said that there was a stand in front of it that was marking that it was not supposed to be dumped. I don't see any signs on that back fence that says the hours that they were there, when they're open, and whenever this occurred, I had pulled in and he wasn't on the job site. So I had came back. He wasn't even on the job site. He was running up and down Dixie Highway at the time. So when I pulled in, there was already cars there. He wasn't helping anybody. He wasn't doing anything he was supposed to do at all, in no shape or form. Had he have done what he was supposed to do, I would have known, okay, not to dump there. I'm fully responsible for the couch and the mattress, but that is it. The other stuff is not my responsibility by no means. The couch and the mattress that is photoed that I did do that. But had he had been there and he said that I was bezilder, I can't pronounce the word. He came out on the phone. Yes. He came out on the phone screaming, and I had my baby in the car. And I think the only reason he came up with that story is because I had talked to his boss previous. And I was like, if I just pay the fine, does my car get towed? And they said, yes, both will happen to you. So if I pay the fine, I still get my car towed. Like, I don't understand.
Do you have any
And that
questions?
video, and the video has been edited. He was recording longer than he provided.
Mr. Cole, if you don't mind, if I follow up with just a couple of questions.
Please go right ahead.
Ma'am, is it your impression that unless there's a sign that says that you can't dump at a location, that you are allowed to dump?
No, I thought it was a pop-up event and my landlord had spoke to somebody, which they did. It was my landlord's error that they got the pop-up location, mixed up. So the pop-up event is things that go on around, Louisville, and it's free and you're able to take like household items and stuff like that and drop them off.
And so at the point where he told you you cannot dump at this location, you didn't think that was sufficient indication that you could not dump at that location?
Honestly, at that point, he had came out screaming at me and all of the above. So no, I was aggravated. I could have just drove away, but no, I was just aggravated. I know what I did was completely wrong. I dropped the couch and I dropped the mattress after he told me not to. I'm fully aware of that, but everything in his statement was false.
I
Where
don't
the
understand what in
signage,
his
like
statement was false. He told you you
this,
couldn't
the
dump there. You
signs.
just said he told you you
Yes,
couldn't dump there.
he said that I couldn't dump there, but the sign saying that he had the metal, the aluminum and all of that stuff. And if you look inside the dumpster, there's more mattresses inside the dumpster.
Well, it's kind of hard to see
on
what
the
signs are
side.
on the dumpster because you have a mattress laying on the side of it that you had illegally
But he
dumped
also
prior to
said there
that.
was a bigger sign that stands in front of the dumpsters.
I think the most relevant part of this is that did he or did he not tell you that you could dump, that you could not dump at that location prior to you dumping at that location?
Yes, after he
Okay.
got there.
Okay, I don't have any further questions, Mr. Cole.
Okay. I really, Ms. Gray, you've answered the question that I had regardless. I understand that you probably weren't in the best frame of mind, and I'm not sure that Mr. Barnett's yelling at you was the rationale that you used to go ahead and move forward with this action. But the fact that what I'm looking at is you have two items at least on the truck that you are seen
Correct.
physically removing from the truck after someone told you that that was not a dumping site. I really don't see any defense anywhere in any of this evidence that's been presented that shows and plus your admission, the fact that you knew what you were doing was wrong, really kind of just basically sums up the whole scenario here. So unless you have something else to say, I'm ready to make a ruling, ma'am.
Nope, that's it.
Good. In the case of
I can't.
NF-SWMS-00500, this is can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, you cut out.
I'm sorry. In the case of ENF dash SWMS dash 21 dash 002500, this is a legal dumping situation at the Southwest Jefferson County recycling facility. We have evidence of items being dumped by Miss Kristen Gray that she has admitted to doing along with the videos. So the citation of $500 is upheld, and the subsequent cleanup penalty of $250 is also upheld. That is my ruling. That is those are the actions taken today. I thank everybody for their participation.
So when is that
$750
due
total.
by? When is that due by?
They
I'm
can
on a
tell you
fixed
there in
income.
the jail.
And what
They'll give
about
you a
my
paper
vehicles?
with
What about the vehicles? Are those left alone?
I don't know what, Mr. Flood, can you give me a policy, if the citation has been ruled on and the fine has, once the fine has been, discharged and paid, does the city still have, I would think by this time, if we haven't picked up a vehicle, we would pick it up, beyond that point, but that's not for me to say. I'd have to go based on what you all's, policy is from that point.
Thank you. First, let me address, and you cut out just a little bit, so if I don't answer your question, I apologize and please restate. But we can give up to 30 days to make that payment, and that's fine. However, in Ordinance 51-510 F, number 1 and 2, a motor vehicle used for illegal dumping in violation of 51-510 A or B will be impounded for a period of 12 months or 6 months, depending upon if it was A or B. That is required for us to do, and we have to hold it for a minimum of 72 hours according to ordinance. And once everything is paid, then we can release the vehicle. So I understand that if she's on a fixed income, the vehicle still needs to be impounded, but we're not supposed to release this until all fines and fees are paid.
I no longer have possession of the vehicle.
I would just say this is something you all can figure out on the backside of that. We can talk about it, Pete, after the hearing.
Yeah,
Sorry,
because,
I didn't understand.
okay, I'm just, being somewhat familiar with vehicle impoundment. I would think that if we don't have it by now, it might be difficult to get it. And once she's paid the fine.
I no longer have possession of the truck. I sold it. That's what I'm trying to figure out, like if they have to worry about something.
Okay, well, I can't litigate that today in this hearing. The fine and citation, the citation and the penalty are upheld. I know that you're responsible for that. Mr. Howard, if you can get with Mr. Flood and we can determine, but I don't see any further role for this hearing board in this particular situation.
And I will, Mr. Cole. I'll reach out to Mr. Flood and get it figured out.
All righty.
Thank you.
Next case.
Number ENF SWMS 21 002243 2313 Hardesty Avenue.
Morning. Please say your name.
My name is Luis Zapata, Luis Oswaldo Zapata.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Just to clarify here, this citation was issued against a Dana Dansby. Is that correct?
What?
Dana Dansby?
I see it, Dana.
By who?
Dana.
Oh,
Lampson.
Yes, yeah. And she was the one who told me that about the appeal. She was like, everything I've seen, I don't think this is right. I'll go on that for you. And she helped me out, get the appeal form and everything. She was really nice.
Guess I'm not completely following. You own the car or?
Car? What is this for? 2113 Speed Avenue?
Hardesty.
No, sir.
No,
Car?
no. It's 2313 Hardesty.
There you go. We'll get to you in a minute.
I got dyslexia also, I'm sorry.
Okay. Do we have anyone here on Hardesty?
2313 Hardesty. Oh,
Nobody?
no, sir.
Mr. Cole, we do have Public Works here to prove the case if someone is, they're here, so our side is here.
Okay, and if they can briefly go ahead and make the case for why we're here, and then I can go ahead and make a ruling in the absence of anyone here to respond to it.
We can do that if you think it's necessary, since they're not, I mean, and then that's fine, but since they're not here, I think it becomes a final order anyway, unless I'm wrong, and Mr. Schoen, you can correct me.
You're correct. Yeah, we don't really need to necessarily delve into the gory details. No problem.
But I don't, Pete, would you mind just giving them a quick breakdown of?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, yeah, okay, sorry.
I'm good. No, we don't have a respondent, so that's fine. The person listed on this response is a Dana Linton, and they are not in person or online in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So I'm going to go ahead and make a ruling in the case of ENF-SWS-MS -21-002243. This is appears to be an illegal dumping at the about the address that's 2313 Hardesty Avenue. The responsible party, or the person that filed the appeal, is not here. We have Dana Linton record. So with previous precedent established, the citation of $500 and the subsequent cleanup fee of $250 that was imposed by SWIMS is also applicable here. So the citation and the cleanup fee for a total of $750. The citation and the fine, the penalty, are upheld. That is my ruling, and we can move on to the next case. Thank you.
Next case, case number ENF-BRD-22-02885, 2113 Speed Avenue.
And for the record, this is an animal control case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do we have a Keisha online?
Yes,
Was
Kishi.
that
Keshi? Kishi?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Cole, we have the witness also online.
okay? All right, Ms. Shaw.
Okay, sir, you have already been sworn in. Let me just ask you to state your name again for the record for this case.
Luis Zapata.
Okay. And then Kishi, could you turn your video on, please? You're going to want to hit start video. Okay, gotcha. If you could unmute yourself so you can state your name for the record, and I'm going to swear you in as well, Kishi?
Kishi Mawundapeg.
All right, thank you. Well, I've already sworn in, okay. So could you raise your right hand, please, Kishi? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes.
Thank you.
Officer McMichael.
Let her go ahead and swear me in real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Sorry about that, Sergeant McMichael. If you could please state your name and title for the record.
Michael McMichael, Sergeant, Animal Control Officer 3.
All right. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Can you go through the citation with us?
Yes, sir. On 2/13/2020, Officer Cogburn issued a civil penalty. According to a statement, over the several last months, 2 dogs belonging to Mr. Zonita Lewis. I'm sorry if I misspelled
I
it.
believe it's Zapata.
Zapata, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to read her writing. Belonging to Mr. Zazada, makes noise in their apartment by walking, scratching, and playing loudly. This is the first civil penalty at a $150 penalty rate.
And if you can tell, did anyone from your department witness anything in relation to the violation?
No, sir, this is according to a statement only.
Okay, so no one from Louisville Animal Control has any personal knowledge as to whether or not this is a violation or not. This is just based upon the witness statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think that's it for, well, how did you all determine who owned the dog? Did you all go out to the property?
Yeah. Yes.
Officer Cogburn went out to the property,
Okay,
made contact with Mr. Zapata.
okay.
Sergeant McMichael, just state real quickly, the date on this, you said 2/13/2020 or 2022?
That's 2/13/2020.
This violation is from 2020?
Yeah, this person doesn't live here anymore either. I still live there, but I've had new tenants for the past like 2 years, and they haven't had any issues or any complaints or anything. And I've spoke with my landlord, and they're also emotional support animals, so got that paperwork too. And that lady, she got evicted actually after more problems with the landlord and other tenants in the apartment. So yeah, that was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Joe, I'm going to give you an opportunity to restate that, because I'm more concerned. We're hearing a two-year plus complaint.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at the details right now from Officer Cogburn. The
Yeah,
complaint.
they all do say February 4th, 2020, the voluntary witness statement and the appeal, so.
Okay, my lieutenant.
Do I have to entertain?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mr. Coe. My lieutenant just informed me that these were all basically lost, that they were generated. Yeah.
Before we move forward, because I think this is going to be relevant, Mr. Cole, are you still there? I apologize if.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. You cut out for just a minute.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Sergeant McMichael, did you all have any complaints since that February of 2020?
It looks like the complaint initially came in on February 5th, 2020 at 7:51 a.m. It was put in, the officer answered it on February 10th, 2020, and it looks like that officer made a follow-up. And that's when Officer Cogburn on February 13th went out and issued the civil penalty on 2020, or year
Anything
2020.
since then? Anything since February 2020?
Let me look up history real quick.
Okay, well, and you can look that up and we can come back to that if you want. And then, Mr. Cole, if you're okay, we can move to the witnesses and I can come back and ask him if there's,
There's no history. I just checked.
okay.
So there's nothing further from that date.
I'm fine with moving forward, but if the person doesn't live there anymore, I'm trying to figure out if do we need to hear this?
Yeah, I think that'd be the first question I would ask is, is there a point to this anymore? So, I think it was Kishi. Are you online? I'm sorry, I'm not seeing you.
Yeah.
Do you still live at that address?
No, I do not. I've been gone since 2020.
Okay, so in essence, you're here today because you got a notice in mail that there was a hearing?
Yeah, I came because I got the notice.
Okay, are you still interested in this case at all?
Sure, since we're here. I mean, I did have a problem with him. I'm not sure if anyone else is having a problem, but I did during the time that I was there.
Okay, well, I don't see any harm in letting her go through, state what's going on unless you do, Mr. Cole.
To be honest with you, you're going to entertain a 2-year complaint.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
But the dog that's listed on this, Ajax, brown and white, neutered male Siberian Husky, is that dog still currently at the address?
Yes.
Okay, so who has possession of Ajax?
I do.
Okay, all right, gotcha. That's it. Sorry, I just wanted to ask that question. So the
Oh,
dog's
okay.
still there.
Yeah.
You go ahead and proceed, Mr. Howard. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Kishi, how do you say your last name? I didn't want to try it and just
Mawindapek?
Mawindapek?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to call you by your first name since we've never met before, but if you want to go through what was going on back in 2020 and let the board know, and then if I have follow-up questions, I can go from there.
Since I was there from 2018 until early 2020, and I think the problem started like somewhere in like August of 2019. His dog, at first he just had one dog, and it would always just kind of be running around upstairs, and the apartment is hardwood floor, so you would hear the impact more strongly. It just sounded like the dog was running up and down the hallway all day, rolling around the ball. And then when we got to like mid-December or maybe November, it sounded like he got an additional dog. So then he had 2 dogs up there. They were playing with each other and just constantly running around. Anywhere from like, I want to say 4 a.m. until the time I had to go to work, which was like 9 a.m. You would hear the dog barking. You would hear the dog howling on and off. You would hear the dog running up and down the hallway consistently. And that's pretty much it. I tried to take it up with the dog owner, and so did my boyfriend at the time. We took it up with him. We took it up with the property managers. We didn't really get a resolution. So then I did do a complaint. I think it was through you guys, or through some dog department. I did a complaint, and that was really about it. Just consistent dog noise from him up until
Okay.
we.
Was the main portion of the dog noise the dogs running around in the apartment above you, or was it the dogs barking, or what was the?
Both. The dogs were running a lot. I would say consistently, anywhere from 4 a.m. Up until like 9 a.m. The dogs would be running up and down, and the dogs would be barking and howling. I went up there one time to his apartment and I was knocking real loudly because the dog was kind of howling and barking. Nobody answered the door, but a neighbor came out and they told me that he had left for work. So I don't know, around that time, typically that's when they would start going off. So he was, I guess, at work already. And that's really it. I do remember one time a police officer had to come to the building because the dogs were howling all day. So somebody else ended up calling on them. And that's all I know.
Mr. Cole, I don't have any further questions if we wanted to move on.
Okay. Like I said, I just have, I have difficulty trying to rule on it. 2 years, 2 years.
Right.
And even though she may have had a valid concern at that time, she no longer lives, nor it's taken this 2 years to get to this stage. I really don't see that I have that I made termination right years ago. So I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody that I appreciate their showing up and subscribing to the. At least we know the system works, but maybe somewhat delayed. So in the case of the NFRD-22-28 animal control back to
You're completely cutting out, sir.
2020. Okay, I'm not sure
You're back.
what's going on with my my device. Let me can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Can
can.
anybody hear me?
I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Just going to follow up with the fact that in the case of ENF-BRD-22-02885, animal control case alleging excessive noise. The complainant, the witness no longer lives at the location. And it's my ruling today that the citation and subsequent fee of $150 are hereby dismissed. That is my ruling. Thank you all for showing up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No wrong with that. Case number ENF-BRD-22-02888, 2325 Rowan Street.
And before we move on, just so I don't forget about this, Sergeant McMichael, I would probably let them know that at 2 years, I don't know what the applicable statute of limitations is for a citation, an administrative citation like this, but I'm assuming that it's less than 2 years. It would be either 2 years or less. So you probably couldn't even issue a citation at this point if you wanted to. But I'm not sure of that, but.
Correct. No, you're correct. And what the lieutenant, he stepped out here and he was telling me a couple things before we actually started on our cases, that I believe that most of these cases, looking at the dates, they're all 2020. And what it was, and what he explained to me is that these were lost by the code enforcement in a situation that where COVID was going on. They either got misplaced, they were put aside, or they were lost. We're not pointing any blame or anything like that, because of course we all know how COVID went. Some things got lost in transition with that. So these cases were found, and I believe Lieutenant Hamilton has been talking to Mr. Fields, and I believe that the majority of these cases today are going to be 2020, and
I'm looking at
there's
this
also
wrong.
another
It's 2020. Mr. Cole, I'd reviewed these previously, but I never noticed that they had 2020. I think I just read them and assumed that they were more recent. I don't always check the dates of the signature on here, but Ms. Schoen, just to bring this up, I'm not sure that these wouldn't violate some statute of limitations, and I'm not sure when that toll, like, is it when the citation is written up, or is it when it's actually issued to the individual? These are questions that I wouldn't think that would come up. So I don't know if you have an opinion on that.
The citation has already been issued, and the appeals are timely, correct, on all these? I mean, the appeals are also
Okay,
from.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So I don't
These
know that
were
there's a
issued, they
statute
just
of
didn't get a
limitation
hearing.
issue. There may be some concern, there may be some due process concerns that some people may or may not raise about the timeliness of the scheduling of the hearing.
That's right. I don't
But I
know
mean,
why
I
it didn't
think
dawn on me, but
I think you would have to view them at the time that they were cited and appealed instead of judging them by today's standard of whether it's still going on. But I mean, it's
correct.
also a matter of discretion.
I think what I was looking at was the citation date, not realizing that they had the only issue is that they did not get the hearing in a timely fashion. So,
Right.
And I looked back, and there's like 3 of them back in 2020 that we've got on file today, and then there's a couple in 2021, and then there's a couple for 2022. So not all of them are as old, but at least 3 of them are. The one that we concluded just a while ago, this one is a 2020, and I believe the next one after that's going to be a 2020. And what I can do is I can, for each one, I can read off like Mr. I'm sorry, I forgot your last name. Mr. Howard, like Mr. Howard said, has there been any previous complaints and stuff like that? So I can go back and at least look those up and decipher if it's still a problem or not. But yeah,
you can go forward with this one. I was probably just slowing things down, trying to figure out what we were dealing with here. So,
No,
I would
I
add
have a
to
question.
this may be a more direct answer to your question, Mr. Cole, and Mr. Howard, you may have some information regarding this, but I'm not aware of a statute or an ordinance that specifically speaks to the number of days that the hearing has to be scheduled within. So, obviously
there's not.
the
There's not.
hearing
I've
should be
actually looked
timely
at this
scheduled,
before.
but yeah. But as far as whether there's a specific number of days in which the hearing has to be held, I'm not aware of that.
My concern was that I believe I was reading these citations as not being issued until a month ago that had occurred in 2020. So now that I
Right.
didn't wrap my head around the idea that it was just the hearing that we were waiting on, not the actual process, the initial process. So,
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
may I ask a procedural question?
Yeah.
Notwithstanding that we can move forward, but any remedy that I might dispense today that perhaps had some conditions on it that may involve time moving forward, would it be from today or would it be from the time that the citations occurred? Because I'm not sure that if we're dealing with a degree of fairness here, that I can make a ruling that will be effective over a period of time dating back from those times that we're looking that the actual violations occurred.
Yeah, I think they have to be judged as far as what is contained in the citation and what the appellant states in the appeal as of what was going on in that point of time, rather than by a standard of whether it's still going on today, if that answers your question. So, I think that they can speak to that as a side issue, but I think the appeal has to deal with what's in the citation and what's stated in this statement of appeal as of what occurred in this case, 2020, 2021. But if something's still going on today, it would have to be a new citation. So
Precisely. So how do I rule on something that happened a year, 2 years ago that may or may not be still happening?
I think probably the best route to go would be, let's just present the case and then we can see how the circumstances that are unique to these citations apply today. Some of the remedies that we've used in the past to handle these situations may not be applicable for these citations, but I guess we can figure that out once we get there.
Okay, so we're going forward with a process just to, I guess, verify the process.
I guess once we get to the point where you're going to make a ruling, we'll see how these unique circumstances apply.
I'm following you all's direction here. I have some questions, but I'll withhold them as we go on a case by case basis. So
right.
So the case
do
that
we
we're
have
dealing
just
with
one
now.
person here for this case?
Yes.
Okay, what is your name, ma'am?
My name is Winter Lay.
Okay, and so Ms. Lay received this citation, Mr. Cole. I don't know that we have anyone else here on this case.
We have a Richard Bradley.
That is my neighbor.
Yeah, and I don't think
He's
he's
supposed to be here
online.
today.
Yeah, he told me he wasn't going to show up today.
There you go. We spent 15 minutes on a case we could just dismiss.
Okay. All right. In the case of ENF-BRD-22-02-02888, it's an animal control case. At the location of 2325 Rowan, we have the owner of the animal involved at that time present. The witness is a do not show. Following past precedent, the citation and subsequent penalty of $150 are hereby dismissed. That is my ruling. Thank you so much, ma'am, for showing.
Thank you.
Next case.
Case number ENF. Case number ENF/BRD/22/02887 9443 Mossy Creek Way. Mossy Creek Way.
Can I have the date on that just before we start anything?
Like December of 2020, December 13th, 2020.
Okay. Is anybody here for that?
I
Yes.
believe we have
Travis
Wallace.
This is Travis Wallace.
Okay. So we have the
That was
witness
Sarah Johnson.
present.
Is Sarah Johnson here? No.
All right. Mr. Wallace, can you please turn your camera on? Start your video.
Is this location 9443 Mossy Creek Way?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Wallace, are you able to turn your camera on?
I'm trying to get it on now. See if I can get it to work. All right, there we go.
There you are.
Okay.
Mr. Coleman, I know we don't have someone else here, so generally we would uphold the citation, but I was just going to ask Mr. Wallace if this is still are these your neighbors?
Yes, sir.
Is this still an ongoing issue?
Yes, it's been going on for about 8 or 9 months now.
Then I would just, since they're not here, I would ask the citation to be upheld and go from there.
That was my question, and I agree. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and make a ruling in the case of ENF-BRD-21-02887. This involves an animal control case at the location of 9443 Mossy Creek Way. The complaining witness has showed up, and the owner in question did not. So therefore, the citation and subsequent penalty of $150 is hereby upheld. That is my ruling. Thank you for your participation, Mr. Wallace.
All right, thank you.
Case number ENF-BRD-22-02878, 3320 Mary O'Connor Drive. Are you Melinda Brown? Okay, we have Melinda Brown, the witness here. Do we have anyone in the queue for 3320 Mary O'Connor Drive?
May I have the actual date of the citation, please?
12/2/21.
And who did we have here? Sorry, Dwayne.
Witness.
We have a Melinda Brown, the witness.
Melinda, are these people your neighbors?
Yes, sir.
Is the issue that you've had with them, is that still going on?
Well, no, it done quieting down now. But I'm the one that got hurt in it. My dog was fighting his dog. He have a poodle and I have a Yorkie. And I'm trying to pull my dog loose. And as I pulling, the poodle kept on pulling his leg. And the master just sit there, just like it. And he came around the corner and then dropped the leash on the dog.
Let me stop you for 1 second. They're not here, so
Yes, we
the
are.
citation.
We are here.
Sorry,
You
I
hear
guess.
us?
Yes. I hear somebody.
George Ross.
That's him.
Okay, Mr. Ross.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I see you on video. All right. Before anyone says anything else, let me go ahead and get you both sworn in. If you could raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes.
I do.
Thank you.
Mr. Cole, do you mind if I ask one question real quick and then go from there and we can go through the normal process?
No, go ahead.
Ma'am, are you still interested in going forward with this citation? Because it's over a year old. I just want to make sure that if you weren't having it, without going into the facts of what happened on the day, are you still interested in going forward with the citation, or has the problem resolved itself?
Well, I don't see his dog no more, so it's dead for me. I want to just
So
drop
are you
it.
still interested in this, or?
No, it's okay now. Long as his dog, when I take my dog out, long as he keep the leash on his dog and quit letting it go, and I can walk my dog.
Mr. Cole, would you rather me just go forward with going through the questioning?
I'm going to leave that to your discretion.
Yeah, I'll just go forward.
I will hear it either way.
Yeah, that wasn't a clear, decisive answer, so I'll just Officer Sergeant McMichael, if you could just go through the facts with me.
All right.
Or the citation, I'm sorry.
Hold on a second. Excuse me. Officer Hall is the issuing officer. She states on 12/2, December 2nd, 2021, at 17:47 hours, her witness statement, the complainant was getting off elevator to take dog outside.
Yeah.
Dogs into a fight, and she's got in quotations minor. I'm assuming that's a minor fight. When the complainant broke the two dogs up apart, the complainant fell cheek or front. I can't make up that word. I apologize. Fell cheek is shallow. Apart. I'm really not getting what she wrote. The complainant fell. I'm getting.
Well, let me just stop you there. You're reading from the citation, and I think Mr. Cole has that in front of him. Is the citation for not having control of the animal?
Owner to control animal nuisances prohibited.
Okay, and this is from February 2nd, or I'm sorry, December 2nd, 2021.
Yes, sir.
And then were you all able to meet with the owner of the animal?
It looks like the officer has in her notes for the activity screen. It says talk to the owner, educate, issue a notice, issue a civil penalty, and general completion. More so, she took the witness statement.
You all were able to determine who the owner of the dog was?
Yes, sir. Officer Hall did.
And that was George Ross?
Yes, sir.
And no one from animal control witnessed any of the events?
No. This is all per her witness statement whenever she went out there and conducted the investigation.
Okay. Ms. Brown, or Mr. Cole, did you have any other questions for Sergeant McMichael?
No, not for Sergeant McMichael, no.
Ms. Brown, if you want to just go through what happened and we can ask follow-up questions from there.
Okay, he was coming around the corner. He dropped, Mr. George dropped the leash. I'm standing between a chair and a pole getting off the elevator. Next thing I know, his dog come running to us, and I'm trying to pick man's up, and I get tangled up in their fight, and I fell, broke a tooth, and then turned around. I looked for him to grab his dog or do something. He just stood there. And I'm like, wow, you ain't gonna grab your dog?
What kind of
I'm trying to pull
location
my
is
dog
this?
loose.
Is this you said an elevator. Can you kind of explain what this is? The condos or apartment complex?
The apartments, senior citizen apartment.
Okay, so you said you got off the elevator and you had your dog. Was it on a leash, your dog?
Yeah, I was trying to I seen his dog coming, so I'm trying to get my dog. So they end up fighting a little bit, and then some kind of way I fell on the ground and broke my tooth, and two white ladies helped me up off the floor. He didn't do nothing. He just stood there.
And what kind of dog do you have?
Yorkie.
Okay, and Mr. Ross, what kind of dog was his? What kind of dog attacked your dog?
My dog?
Yes. Well, what kind of? Can you describe the animals that were involved in the fight?
It looked like a miniature German Shepherd. He ain't nothing but this tall. He ain't even that tall. He have a poodle that's way taller than my dog. And this is not the first time that I asked him, don't keep your dog on the chain, because one other time we was in the port and they got to fighting and stuff.
And in this instance,
I'm like,
was his dog on a leash and it just gotten away from him, or was it just running loose?
No, he just dropped it that day.
Okay, so it was a dog
Somewhere
running
in the corner
loose, but
there,
it had
dog-
a leash on it.
Yeah, yeah. And he didn't get it. He just let it go.
Mr. Cole, I'm trying to think if I had any other questions. If you have anything, feel free.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just you had mentioned earlier that there had not been back in December. Is that correct?
I didn't hear you, baby.
You were cutting out, Mr.
couldn't
Cole,
hear
till the
you.
very end of that.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with my devices today. I'm just asking, has any further occurrences happened
It's something today?
since the December incident?
Yes.
Did you hear my question?
Not really. You going in and out.
Mr. Cole, you want? Yeah, I think I got the gist of your question. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Has anything happened since that December incident from which the citation was issued? So, after December
No.
2021, have you had any other altercations with Mr. Ross's animal?
No.
Okay. So since that date, there hasn't been any issues?
No.
Okay. Mr. Cole, was that the question that you were wanting to hear the answer to?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions unless you had anything for her.
My phone. Can you hear me better? Hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, let's go ahead and hear from you, the dog owner.
Mr. Cole, you might want to mute your computer or your phone, one or the other, because one of them's giving feedback, I think. Mr. Ross?
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and just give us an account of the events, and we can ask follow-up questions from there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The young lady is wrong in what she's saying. I come out of the mail room and turning right towards the elevator, which is about 10 feet from where I turned it right. And that dog, can you hear me?
Yes, we're getting a lot of feedback, so maybe I don't know how we mute everybody to keep that from happening, other than you, Mr. Ross.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, what I'm trying to describe, I was going towards the elevator and got to the elevator. And this young lady has a dog that's very aggressive. The dog is small, but he got aggressive in him. And I have a poodle, 11 years old. And what I'm seeing, when I come towards the elevator, her dog went at my dog. I had my dog on the leash. So I hold my dog back, and she tried to kneel down and grab her dog and went all the way to the floor. Now, what she's saying about me not helping her, I have my dog on the leash, look like she's putting things together that's not right. He was trying to hold her dog, and I don't believe she had a leash on the dog. But anyway, I'm saying that I have a leash on my dog 24/7, all the time. And I have a poodle. So whatever she's trying to create, I can't say nothing.
You still have the dog, Mr. Ross?
Sir, I didn't hear you.
You still have the dog?
Yes, sir. Dog is 11 years old.
Are you saying the events occurred except that your dog was on the leash, or and you have two computers open, which may be why we're getting the feedback from you. So if you could close one of them, not the, or at least mute one of them.
Sir, I didn't hear that. Sir,
Yes.
I didn't hear that.
You have two computers open, which is why you probably have all this feedback.
Actually, I helped him. We lost the screen and I had to relaunch it. But on this side, I only see one.
My question is are you saying that there was a fight between the dogs, except your dog was on its leash?
Sir, it was not a fight. Her dog, every time, he's very aggressive. And my dog just responded, but I had a leash on the dog, which I keep it on. Now, whatever happened to her,
Have at least, John.
I don't have stuff to say. I don't know.
Mr. Cole, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
It's not really, it really doesn't matter if I understood what he said or not. It matters if you understood it. I did not, but if you did.
I'm getting the same reverb that you are, but I did hear him say that he had the leash on the animal at the time of the incident.
Not. No, he didn't.
Okay, ma'am. So we have a difference of opinion here, and that's what these
Right.
hearings are about. My video is not showing up, or at least it's not staying up, but what I'm hearing here, and of course this obviously this case is a violation or whatever is December of 21, so it's definitely more recent than some of the other ones we've heard this morning. Have Miss Brown saying that her animal was she was trying to pick her animal up and got entangled with Mr. Ross's animal, who had a leash on it, but he didn't have control of the leash at the time. Is that an accurate description, ma'am?
He dropped the leaf as he came around that corner from the mailbox. I guess from the mailbox. And then the dog came to it.
Right. Okay. But I also heard you say earlier that we've not had a recurrence of this particular problem since back in December. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, and your concerns with Mr. Ross more were the fact that he made no effort to try to assist you once you became entangled and fell down. Is that correct?
Yes. He didn't even try to get his dog or nothing. He just stood there. And two white ladies picked me up off the floor, and that's when my tooth came out. I'm like, dang, I broke my tooth. Because I hit that
Okay,
concrete floor.
I'm definitely sorry for that you were injured in this, ma'am, but I don't have any jurisdiction in medical damages. So I'm just here to try to assess what's going on with the with the two animals involved and the owners that are here today. So Mr. Howard, do you have any recommendations here?
My recommendation, Mr. Cole, would be to uphold the citation, but being that there hasn't been any issues since this incident, to CD the fine in the hopes that maybe the problem has been resolved.
That's exactly what I wrote down 15 minutes ago. But I wanted to be sure that I was on somewhat substantial footing to make that determination. So that's if both parties can hear me, in the case of ENF-BRD-22-02878, this is an animal control complaint having to do with the entanglement of two dogs. Although there is some dispute as to who and what initiated the concerns, the fact of the matter is a violation did occur. Mr. Ross had a leash on his animal, but did not have control of the leash at the time that the two dogs interacted. So what I'm going to do is uphold the citation but conditionally discharge the fine of $150 in lieu of the fact that we do not have a reoccurrence of a similar nature within a 12-month period. So the citation is upheld, but the $150 fine is conditionally discharged until unless there's a further violation. That is my ruling. Thank you all both for being here this morning.
And he got to pay the 150 on me.
No, you don't have to pay anything, ma'am. And his fine is conditionally discharged, pending the fact that you all don't have any further confrontation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Case number ENF/BRD/22/02876, 9814 Seville Drive. For Charles Meyer and Amber Rowley.
What's the date on this on the violation, sir?
12/13/2021.
Excuse me?
December 13th, 2021.
Okay, that's current enough. For you all folks' knowledge, I'm having difficulties with both my devices today. If you can hear me, fine, but I can't get my video to come back on. So not that you all need to see me anyway, but do we have either party here, Mr. Fields, for this case?
There's no one here in the OGL, sir. I don't know about online. Is there anyone online regarding 9814 Seville Drive? Charles Meyer or Amber Rowley? Seems no one is here, Mr. Cole.
Okay. Well, this one can move fairly quickly. In the case of ENF-BRD-22-202-876, it's an animal control case in the at the address of 9814 Seville Drive. There's a no-show part of the witness and the animal owner at this point. So following past precedent, the citation and subsequent penalty, I believe, is the listed fine $150
Yes, sir.
for this case? Okay, so in the case of ENF-BRD-22, that is my ruling. Next case.
He upheld it. Case number ENF/BRD/22/02668, 1834 Appleton Lane. Whoever Yolanda Afoot. Anyone here for the property of 1834 Appleton Lane?
We got anybody for this one?
No, sir.
Okay. Did they turn out the lights in the old jail? It looks like it's dark over. Okay. All right. No witness. No owner.
No, sir.
Do not show on both cases. So my ruling is follows. In case of ENF-BRD-22-02668, we have a no show on the part of the owner and the citation and subsequent penalty of $150, which I'm assuming is the case because I don't have my chart in front of me. Citation and penalty are upheld. So ruled.
Thank you, sir. Case number ENF-BRD-21-10140, 1172 East Broadway.
I'm here.
You have a Tim Sandman. Did someone just say something?
Yeah, Dr. Christopher Butler is here.
Yes, sir. You're the one that resides at 1172 East Broadway?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have a Tim Sandman? Tim Sandman. Mr. Cole, the witness is not present.
Okay, let me ask the person present. Is this your neighbor, sir?
I have no idea. I think they say they were across the street or something. I live in an apartment complex.
Okay. But okay. Well, okay. But you are the person who the violation was taken against. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, the complaining witnesses following our procedurals established in the case of ENF-BRD-22-10140. This is an animal control case where the complaining witness is not present. The owner of the animal, Dr. Christopher Butler, is present as so. The citation and the subsequent penalty that was imposed are hereby dismissed.
Thank you.
So that should wrap up that case also. So thank you for showing, sir.
Case number ENF/BRD/22/00091, 1431 Indiana Avenue. With a Cheryl Bretlinger. This was a redocket, Mr. Cole.
Okay, at whose request?
It was their request for the owner to be in compliance.
Okay, it's an animal control case, and what is the fine on that?
There was no fine, actually. I think this is the one where the case it was them and Cheryl Brentlager, but it was animal control against them. It wasn't necessarily a witness.
Yeah, Sergeant McMichael, this is your show.
Yep, and I've never done one of these before, so bear with me. I'm assuming from what I'm looking at right now is the paperwork. It looks like Officer McKechnie issued a violation notice for shots and license and restraint required, and that they must get their dog microchipped. And whenever they send this to code enforcement is because they've tried to contact the person, they've sent out a certified letter to the address, let them know that they're still not in compliance. And then our last resort is to send it to code enforcement under the new rules that was implied through management from our department. So let me do this real quick. Let me put in the activity, and I'm trying to read his writing. He's got bad writing too. I'm sorry. Let me look it up and see if they actually complied or not. So it's under Cheryl and Robbie Brentlinger. So let me look them up real quick and see what I've got on file.
While you're doing that, Sergeant McMichael, let me ask Mr. Howard what if this is going to be a preview of things to come. What do we have the option, or do we, are we able to uphold fines, or will fines be issued under the circumstances, since this does seem to be a failure to locate type of situation? I mean, we don't have any any magic beans that will make them appear. So what is the position that we should follow through? And this is for my own information, that we should follow through going forward.
Oh, my take on it would be that animal control needs to, and code enforcement board would probably have to have a discussion about how they wanted to handle these cases. I don't think you can I don't believe these cases should be in front of code enforcement board without laying the groundwork for handling these types of issues in advance. So I don't think the apparatus is in place right now to handle these types of citations. So I think there's an underlying issue there about whether or not code enforcement board can even handle this. I think if Animal Services was simply issuing a fine, there's no problem with that. But this is different from that, and I don't think the groundwork is in place to handle these types of cases. I don't even know if that's the question you were asking, but that's my take on it.
It's close enough, because all I'm asking is that we as a code enforcement panel, policy board, whatever you want to call it, we don't have the authority to establish our own, rules moving forward. So it has to be in reaction to something that's already existing in terms of code, current city codes and regulations, or it has to be something that's coming on a recommendation from animal control. I'm just trying to figure out what my posture in moving forward on, and how I would rule on something like this, given the fact that I can't make my own policy.
Right. There's other cases that are where it's not just involving a fine, for example, demolition cases. So I'm not saying that you all don't have the authority to do more than just issue fines, but I believe in those instances that there's a system in place for handling those cases that isn't in place for this. But that's just my opinion. I think we would have to do a little bit of.
Let me give a little background real quick.
What would we be discussing?
Hey, can I give a little background real quick?
Go ahead.
That way. All right. So I've been here for 25 years. So in the 25 years, the way we used to handle these situations where people didn't comply with our violation notices for All right, so back then and still today, we still have options when we go out and talk to folks about violations of animals. So it's either us give them a uniform citation because we witnessed the violation or we observed some type of ill treatment for an animal. We will send that to court typically. But when we get out there and we don't see the violation, we don't see anything wrong, and 9 out of 10 times those cases will turn out to be like, well, the dog's not current on a license, or hey, we did see the dog out in the street, but it ran back in, so we're not really going to send that to court. We're just going to kind of give them a restraint notice. It's kind of like the equivalent of a speed ticket, where you don't go to jail, but you got to pay the ticket. So what they do is the officers give that person a violation notice, and they stack a 30-day time limit on it. Well, 30 days comes and goes, and they don't comply, and it comes back to the officer. The officer's up. It's left up to the officer to research it to see if that they complied actually, or if they need to contact that person and say, "Hey, look, I've noticed you haven't complied, so you need to really get this done. I'm gonna give you an extension. I'm gonna give you another 30 days, or I'm gonna give you 2 weeks, however long." And then if they don't comply, then and we try to call them back the next time. It's we don't get the hold of them. We will send them a letter that was drafted up from our computer that Mrs. Jones approved of when she was still in office. And we would send that letter to them. If they didn't comply with it after that time frame, then what we normally used to do is convert it to a uniform citation and send it off to court. Well, since and this has been since last year or so, it's during COVID. The court system on the criminal section decided that we should not be sending people to court. We shouldn't be mailing citations to them or anything like that. And we can go out and issue it to it. But so they've adopted. What? Oh, I thought somebody was. But anyways, what they were adopted, and Lieutenant Hamilton can probably answer it a lot better than I can. But they've adopted sending them if non-compliance. They went all through all these processes. Is to convert it to a civil penalty and then send it in front of you guys. So basically, the civil penalty is saying that we're issuing the fine because we're non-compliance. So we're presenting it to you, to code enforcement as in the civil sector as non-compliance. That's how I took it, and that's what I was explaining. Now, Lieutenant Hamilton ultimately could answer more. If y'all want to wait a second, I can go to his office and see if he wants to step in. Just making sure y'all can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So did everybody get the gist of what I know it was lengthy. Sorry, I apologize, but
I understood it.
okay. What do you think, Mr. Howard?
I don't know if my opinion is relevant to the.
I got.
Oh, you're still breaking up, bud.
Most of.
I think we've lost Mr. Cole, possibly.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
And now everything you probably said for the last 30 seconds we didn't hear.
Okay. I heard Sergeant McMichael, most of him, not all of it.
Okay. Ben, I went into like a couple minutes of talking there. I don't know what you heard. That's why I was asking Mr. Howard if he,
That would probably be a code board decision, not a Mr. Howard decision. But what did they take care of the problem in this case?
Well, I looked it up. They did comply with the license, so they did comply with that. It looks like the officer issued. He check marked off on restraint required. He check marked off on shots and license, and then he checked off on microchip. spay and neuter. So basically what he did was he picked up an animal out in the field and he turned it back into the owner. Well, RTO, which is return to owner, which is what we do. We don't want to take the dog to the shelter if we don't have to. So if we get a dog and we can find ownership, we'll take it back to them unless it's done something heinous. And then of course, no. But in this case, the dog was returned back to the owner and given the form to comply with those items. So they complied with the license, which is what they're supposed to do. Like if they want to contest microchip, or if they want to contest the spay and neuter, we would actually have to send them to criminal court. That wouldn't be something for code enforcement because that, as you know, the fines and fees and stuff like that, that's what they take care of course. But the making someone get their animal altered or microchip, which is it's a big gauge needle that goes into the neck area of a dog, that would be something that would have to be handled by the district court or something in that sense that they had to require them or they would have to fight that charge. So in my opinion, they complied with the license, which is basically required to own an animal in Jefferson County, rabies shots and license. So they comply with that. I guess it's up to code enforcement to decide, you know, if that's enough compliance.
Just to jump in here, I recall this case, and I remember this was the daughter who went online and got the license. She said that the dog was actually her father's dog, and she was going to try to get the license changed so that the owner would reflect him instead of Cheryl Brentlinger. So I don't know if you can tell whether that was done.
Well, when I look at the words, I can see that she's in compliance. It's actually listed under her name, but when you go to the main screen of the person ID portion, there's a two-name portion, so it's a completely different person ID number, and it's got listed Cheryl and Robbie Brentlinger. So there's two people associated with that ID number to this dog. But when I look at the records on the dog in our system, it's showing that it was complied under her name. So yeah, I mean, it's got a current license. It's good until actually next month, and then it expires.
Okay.
I remember the same things
What
you
did you say
remember,
was the other name
Michelle.
on Bobby Murray? But that's what she lists in her appeal as being his name.
Okay.
Well, last time we were on this, I think I can't remember which officer was here. It wasn't you, Sergeant McMichael, but they had indicated that this had been sent over by mistake. But the owner of the dog, or at least the owner of the dog's daughter, had indicated that she was going to get the problem taken care of one way or another. So I think we passed it for that purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I think it was Officer Cogburn, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, Officer Cogburn, she's been stepping in for me a lot because I've been doing some other things. So I haven't really gotten to come to too many of these cases, court cases lately. But ultimately, you know, looking at this, I mean, they complied with what I would think that they were supposed to, which is the shots and license. Because, like I said, we're not going to reserve you guys as code enforcement to handle the spay and neuter and the microchip portion, because those are medical situations that we're trying to require by ordinance that falls under the criminal sector, not the civil sector. So, I mean, if you want to make a decision on compliance on this, I would say that they comply with shots and license, which is, you know, the rabies shot, which is for the health department in the area reasons. I mean, they're in compliance with that. And then they've got their license, which is part of ordinance to have your dog. So I'll let you guys make that decision on what you need to do. So if it's a dismissal, it's a dismissal. If you uphold it, you uphold it.
Is that how it's handled in district court? You dismiss it upon compliance?
Basically, so if they go to district court and they show that they've complied with a microchip and a spay or neuter, normally or typically, they'll dismiss it.
You don't have any issue with the board dismissing this today?
No.
Then, Mr. Cole, I'd recommend dismissing it.
Okay. In the case of, Mr. Fields, can you give me those numbers again? BRD 22 dash what?
00091 for 1431 Indiana Avenue.
Okay, in the case of, for the record, in the case of ENF dash BRD dash 22 dash 00091, this is the animal control issue that required code enforcement response at 1431 Indiana Avenue. This is a following the precedent established in district court. This is a dismissal upon compliance, and that is my ruling that the citation is dismissed, having heard from Sergeant McMichael that they have complied with, for the most part, the conditions of the citation. So we're at a dismissal. Good. Any other cases, Mr. Fields?
That was it for the cases, sir. We just have some uncontested burglary citations that need to be read into the record.
Go ahead and read them into the record.
Yes, sir. Uncontested burglary citation, week ending March 6th to March 12th. Burglary hold-up citation, week ending 3/13/22 to 3/19/22. Uncontested burglary citation for the week ending of 2/22/22 to 2/26/22. Last one is a burglary hold-up citation for the week ending February 27th, 22 to March 5th, 22. That's all the ones we have, Mr. Cole.
Okay, and it's duly noted that they will be addressed according to LMPD and code enforcement requirements and regulations. So there were 4. Okay, so that's done. If you need me to come in and sign them, you know, just let me know, and if not, we can handle it through the way we've been doing it.
Yes, sir. I can take care of that, Mr. Cole.
Thank you much. Thank you much. Any further business to be brought forth today? And I apologize for my technical issues today. I'm not sure what is happening, seeing as I'm the least technically savvy person that I know. I couldn't tell you. I'm still can't get a picture to come up on my phone now because I'm off my my iPad, and I'm assuming that you all can still hear me. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if there's no other business, let me wish everybody good Friday and a happy Easter. And Mr. Kirkham, you have anything you want to add?
No, sir. No, sir. Go ahead and adjourn. There's only one thing I would say off the record. We go ahead. That's an off the record issue. But yeah. Go right ahead and adjourn, please, sir. You've soldiered through today, man. This is a tough one, but you got 4 lucky bounces on the docket of no show, so that's great.
Yeah, well, my lucky bounces always tend to kind of hit me in the head. So.
All right. Hearing adjourned.
Thank you.